Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Takes and Beer Breaks, the podcast where we have some hot takes but more beer breaks. I'm joined as always by Justin and Jason. How you guys
Yep.
doing today? You guys can
Lovely,
follow us.
Jonathan. Lovely.
Ah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. You guys can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, all at Hot Takes and Beer Breaks.
Yeah, and if you
Yeah,
miss that, we're gonna say the exact same thing at the end because
Oh, don't
we really
worry.
want you to go there.
we'll
We're
double
just very
down.
repetitive.
Really want you to listen to us in the podcast you are currently listening to. Trust us.
And then you can
And
also email in at hottakesandbeerbreaks@gmail.com any comments or concerns,
that's the
any
important one.
corrections. Yes. Well, they're all
So,
important, Jason. Come on.
and email,
We
you
didn't,
can make fun of us.
we didn't set up all these social media sites for nothing. All right.
Yes, that's true.
So this week, I know some of our more dedicated listeners are going to be surprised to hear this, but we got some positive reviews over doing The Last Dance and Tiger King. They thought those podcasts were better, where we just kind of picked one subject and kind of talked about nonsense for the whole episode. They thought it was more fun. So if you guys like us doing more current event stories and just doing a week by week, email in and tell us what you think. Or if you like what we're going to start doing now or try for a little while, just try something different, try and switch it up. Even though there's a lot of news going on this week, very important news that we'd normally touch on and talk about. We're gonna avoid it for this week and just try something new. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Some
You guys
stuff we just aren't qualified to talk about. Yes, it's
100%.
important to get out there, but
Yeah, but there's plenty of things to talk about, but this week we're gonna keep it rolling with just something fun and lighthearted. We're gonna talk about a very interesting story. I don't know if you guys have heard this before. I don't know if our viewers have heard this before, and I want to know what they think at the end of it. If they have any theories, if they have any thoughts, whether or not they thought it was stupid, that's always welcomed.
guaranteed.
All right,
Always.
Justin, Jason, what would you say if we lived in a world where a select group of people had psychic abilities? What would you believe? Would you like that? Dislike that?
George Clooney. So, like, we're talking like superhero, like X-Men, like metahuman type things, or
I'm
just
not
like
talking
I
the
can read
people who
minds.
I'm not
I can
talking the people
levitate.
who read your palms or read the tarot cards. I'm talking, yes, X-Men, some sort of psychic ability to look across the world as it seems, or
How about a psychic detective
well,
and his witty black partner
you're
that solve
pitching a movie right
crimes?
now while I'm trying to tell a story.
That's so. Yeah, that's Scrubs. He's called
So,
many things, but never Chocolate Bear.
so Joe McMoneagle, Joe McMoneagle, however you say his last name, he has a fantastical claim
Isn't that
that
a
he
chick from Harry Potter? McGonagall
no,
or something like that? Right?
well, in the 80s and 90s, he claims he was spying on behalf of the U.S. government in a secret project called the Stargate Project, in hopes of using his ability to remote view and spy on other countries and other people.
What do you
Now,
mean
that's his
remote
claim.
view? Like watch a television screen and see what is going on?
So, what he says remote viewing is
Mystical.
it's a psychic ability that allows one to see locations at one point in time. He claimed that he's able to see across the world, view any location. For example, he was able to see a Chinese nuclear facility, a Soviet sub, and prominent people in other countries, and was able to spy on them and observe them on behalf of the U.S. government.
I know what he's using. You guys remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yes.
Yes.
The big globe in the middle that when the monsters attack, they're like, oh, go to the viewing globe. That's what he's using. That's what it is.
Well, that's kind of what he claims. He claims that if you give him coordinates or a picture of a person,
So is he Zordon?
possibly, you never know.
Ooh, things just got interesting.
Yeah, things are very interesting. So he has one fantastic story we're going to talk about. All right, he has one that's really interesting, I think, and then we'll talk about it at the end. So Joe McMoneagle, he was inducted into this project, right? It's called the Stargate Project, and the CIA, and this is actually backed up by an official CIA document that was released. Now it's redacted in certain places, but it's full. It's out there. It's an actual CIA document. So he he at least did work for the government. Now, to the extent of what he did, I guess could be up for question, but he was given an envelope and told to observe certain coordinates on that were in the envelope, and was told to describe what he's seeing. Now, I believe he's in a tank. He's in that saltwater tank, right? You know, where from Stranger Things.
A sensory deprivation chamber.
Yeah. So he's in that, and he's talking back to these. I believe there's two CIA operatives talking to him. So he's describing what he's seeing to them. So now what I heard was the idea was they were hoping to debunk him, kind of say like, "Oh, this is all BS," because they were hoping he would say something like, "Oh, I see mountains," or "I see river." And what he said he saw was he saw pyramids in a yellowish color, and they're surprised by this. Yeah, they see pyramids like this yellowish color. He doesn't really understand what's going on. They then ask him to go back in time because his ability isn't limited to at any point in time. He's able to kind of move in time, as he claims.
John,
I can see you
space and
laughing over there.
time
Just
are irrelevant,
Yeah.
obviously.
obviously the powers of Joe. So he goes back in time, and he's still at the same location. And he describes seeing dust clouds. He thinks he's in like a geological problem, that something else is going on around him, and he doesn't really understand. He says he sees shadows of tall, thin people, but they're not there anymore. He just sees like shadows. He doesn't really understand. So they ask him to go back further to when they are, and he says he sees large pyramids, flat surfaces, and then he moves his location. So he's moving around, kind of seeing different things, just seeing like he can't really understand what he's seeing, but he kind of figures out at this point that it's not Earth. Like it's somewhere else, right? Or it's at least it's not a time in Earth that he recognizes. And he goes in, he sees this giant pyramid, and he goes inside and he sees these tall, thin people. He describes them as wearing some kind of like silk clothing, and they're working on what they were he describes seeing the pyramids, and they're a shield to protect them from the dust clouds going on outside. There's a geological problem with the planet, and the tall thin people are finding a new place to live, as he describes it. So what Joe claims that he went back in time and viewed Martians. He viewed people living on Mars, and that they were an advanced species that was trying to escape their homeworld because Mars had become uninhabitable. And he claims that these are our ancestors, that these species were actually like an ancient race that came to Earth, escaping Mars, and were, descendants of them. That's what he claims he saw, and there is an actual CIA document to back up all what he said and what happened between them, and that's the story he gave.
I feel like I've heard this before,
Have you?
maybe, but because if I'm thinking from, I don't know, vaguely remembering shit, it's, the pyramids, that's why the pyramids were there in Egypt, and all the Egyptians, like, these guys were their gods.
Yeah, so it's a pretty
I
popular
don't know
sci-fi
if it's,
theory.
yeah, it might just be a sci-fi theory. I don't know if it's all looped into him, but like I've heard that.
I'm pretty sure he just described Egyptians.
Well, yeah, that too. I
Isn't
was
that
also
story in the
thinking of.
Bible?
Well, so that's the thing is the
Plagues and
coordinates actually
everything, and
were.
have to move somewhere else, and a great dust or geological issue, and
Well, I guess yeah. I guess that could be a Bible reference, but
Yeah,
he
biblical.
the they actually did give him coordinates to Mars, suspecting that he would describe
but
Earth,
did he
and they would be
describe?
able to
Did
debug.
he say Mars, or did he after the fact say Mars?
No, so he didn't understand what he was seeing at first, and then halfway through, he just keeps describing it, and then realizes it's probably not Earth. He just is like so he assumes, and then they tell him afterwards that it's Mars.
And then he's probably like, "Yeah, I was seeing Mars."
Well, now he just says, "Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
yeah,
was seeing."
Yeah, then he hits
But
that
hindsight is
backtrack.
2020. But he's probably
exactly,
just describing Egypt.
you think he's describing Egypt, that
Oh
maybe he
yeah,
saw
like
Egypt?
think about it. What did he describe? Smooth surfaces,
Yeah.
pyramids, which is
Okay.
literally the most common building and structurally sound thing you can make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they're all over the world. So if you're
Hmm.
hedging your bets, you want to try and hit these base points. Thin people, nobody was fat back then, so obviously,
What do you get tall from then?
point of view.
Point of view?
Yeah. I mean, at that
Maybe
Maybe.
they
point,
were just that skinny where they looked tall, or everything was like, just because you could like, how do you picture Vikings? Do you picture them being like big, tall, burly men?
Yeah, big, broad,
Yeah, they were all
very.
like 5'5", because the
Really?
average height back then. Yeah, they were short.
Ah. So you're saying maybe he saw Egyptians that were like 6'2" or something, and
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, they're
yeah,
very tall."
potentially.
or he's describing Egyptians that were.
Do you believe his story then? Do you believe that he has the ability to see other things?
Oh
And
no,
no, you don't believe it at all.
it's like
Then
anyone trying to cold read something. I have no. I don't believe it.
Jason, do you believe it or not?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I could see
You could see
like
it.
the things he says, but like obviously like more in depth. But like I think it's a crock of shit too.
I actually thinking about this more because there's like if you look into it more, he had some future predictions too. He predicted in like the 2006 or something we would have a cure for AIDS, we'd have a vaccine.
We do.
He
They just
claimed
don't want
that.
to give it to people.
Oh, okay, so maybe he is right.
Allegedly.
And
But
actually, aren't
he
we
he
curing AIDS right now?
how
Like, there's like confirmed people who have been cured of AIDS. Like, it's a very recent thing, but like,
is it?
yeah, Google it,
I
John.
think so.
That's not my job. You're the one telling me we cured AIDS. That's on you.
Well, we are. Yeah.
So he had like a bunch of like false predictions too, and I think he's wrong just as much as he's right. So like you can see videos where he sees a person, he describes like a bridge or something, and the people will be like, "Oh yeah, I did see that bridge." So
A
I
bridge.
don't know if it's whether or not it's true
A
or not, but
a
Okay. So
structural thing that connects two land masses over some type
yeah,
of void or river. One of the most
yeah.
I
common
don't
things
think
in the
so.
world in terms of like cultural uniformity.
So I think I have a theory that kind of because I don't know, I don't think I actually believe this either. I think now is it possible? Is it? I don't want to call him a liar or anything. I want to say but what I think I believe is I think the United States government operates in this kind of place where they try to send out disinformation not only to us but to other countries and everything. So if you can get other countries believing that you have a powerful psychic that's able to spy on you, you know what I mean? Like they might waste resources trying to do the same thing, and it's not true. It's just a lie. Like it's propaganda to kind of and then you get to get this fantastical story out here, which is pyramids and we're descendants of aliens, something most people I think believe without Joe's testimony. You get the public talking about things that aren't necessarily important.
Well, yes and no. It's all about that Men in Black plausible deniability type of thing.
Mm.
Um, Also, this guy could have been involved. You know the MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he could have been involved
Could have
with
been in that.
that. He could have been on psychedelics. It was during the '80s. It was right after all like what was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not far fetched for the United States government to, experiment with psychics and the ability to read minds and whatever. So it's not like an incredibly far fetched story to say that he was in a part of the U.S. government. He was also like he was in the army before this,
Mhm.
so I don't know if anything is necessarily discrediting. You know what I mean? Like,
I just
uh,
feel that he hasn't given enough specific details on specific places.
yeah, you can be very vague
He
and
Yeah.
went very vague and broad. Pyramids, flatlands, squares, like he just said like shapes and shit.
yeah, I think
But
there's a video where he goes more in depth on like what he said because if you go through the article or if you go through the document there's more specifics on what he's actually describing and the actual coordinates and the coordinates on Mars that are they're giving have certain geological structures you can see through through like satellite pictures, and they're like, this is what I saw. Like he describes like a tall shape with a flat surface, and but I mean, again, that can just be what is just some kind of disinformation, or maybe someone like said to him like, hey, they're going to test you on Mars tomorrow, be careful, you know.
Yeah.
He might have a
Yeah.
very good understanding of longitude and latitude, and he knew, oh, okay, this isn't Earth, this is coordinates to Mars, let me describe Mars. Just kind of milk my way through, who knows, you know. So I thought it was a fun story though.
Yeah, and also to go back, there have been 2 people successfully cured of HIV.
There we go.
Oh, congratulations.
So, yeah, one was like last year, and then the other one was 2007, and it's via stem cell transplant.
Ooh, stem cells.
Yeah,
It could be another thing we talk about. Like,
an episode on that.
You think
those
so?
shits are fucking crazy.
But yeah, this guy reminds me of the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats. Yes.
I watched that trailer today because you told me, you were like, what you're describing sounds like this. So yeah, it was funny. I think it's a little different, but it kind of goes more on like the MK Ultra stuff, like just
Well, it's
government
like the
doing weird
it's like
things.
remote viewing.
Yeah,
It goes into that.
a little bit.
No, like a lot of it. That's what it's.
Oh, really?
That's what the movie's revolved around.
Yeah.
Oh, the trailer made it seem like
essentially
it
the same
was.
preference or same present.
Yeah, it could
No,
be.
that's not the word I want. You know the word I want.
Yes.
I think it's a fun story, and I think part of the appeal of this is I think we want to believe that we came from like descendants from Mars, and that's our explanation for how we're so intelligent among other animals on this planet. You know, like
I mean, it is an interesting theory.
yeah. I think it's
I
more
would-
fun than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we.
I don't know.
You don't think it's more fun, Justin?
No.
Then we evolved from apes.
Because then it's like, so we basically what they're saying then is that we downgraded. We were able to travel across to another planet, and then we got dumber. We lost the ability to do things.
I guess, but then I guess maybe the belief is one day we'll get back to that point. Like we accomplished it already
Yeah,
as a.
I don't want the theory to be that we regressed and then we have to get back to where we were. I want to be continuing.
That's true. That's fair.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's
the only way we'll find out for sure is if we successfully colonize Mars and go live there.
Yeah, Elon's doing that soon.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Supposedly.
No, like tomorrow or something.
Is it tomorrow? Wait, he's going to Mars?
Oh, they're going into space.
Yeah.
Well, they're going the International Space Station, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be today and it got scrubbed, and now it's Saturday. And if they can't do it Saturday, it's Sunday. If they can't do it Sunday, then it's not till like second week of June. I forget the day they said.
Was it like that weird thing where?
Well, yeah, they got to wait for it to be perfectly back aligned so they can shoot right up.
I mean, it's not that hard.
And
It's not rocket science.
No, not at all. That's the first step to go to Mars.
It is rocket science.
We get one spacecraft up. We're getting there.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
That would be cool, but
that'd be dope.
Would you guys go to live on Mars?
100%.
No,
hands down.
Yeah, I wouldn't at all.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
It's gonna be terrible.
You wouldn't want to go to space?
Nope.
Nah.
Really? Oh my god, why not?
Because I don't like cramped spaces. You can't really do anything else besides it's like, oh, I'm in space.
Yeah,
I just start working out more.
Yeah, like it's boring. You're eating like shitty food, and
I don't know. I'd be all about it.
Being able to move around.
If they said you can go up for like a month, you go up for like a week or whatever, I would totally do it. But I think to colonize Mars, you would have to go up and then stay there forever and just colonize you. Yeah, so that is
fine by me. I'd do it. Oh
my god.
If they came to me tomorrow and said, yo, you want to go up to space? Here's a 10-week-long boot camp that we're going to put your ass through. You cannot have any contact with your friends, family, for that entire 10 weeks. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I said, yeah, let's go to fucking space.
I'm glad we mean so much to you, Jason.
That's fair. I believe in you.
Can you at least dig up some bones, maybe some tall, thin people? Let us know
Yeah.
if Joe's stories checks out.
We need
Yo,
to get
so
the
what I'll do,
coordinates, though.
I'll scoop up some rocks from Mars and I'll perfectly align it and I'll huck them down and see if you guys can catch them.
They have gravity there.
Yeah, that is the.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna throw them real hard. Come on.
No,
Oh
you're
my
gonna need
god.
to build a catapult based off the bones of the alien species that used to live there.
Well, yeah, if they're as smart as they are, they already have some. So I can.
Did
They
he
probably got a
call them
freaking
aliens?
laser.
I think he might have called. He called them like our ancestors, I believe. I
Okay,
don't know
then
if he
that
called
makes
them
sense. Because if
aliens.
he called them aliens and then he also said that we were descendants, that doesn't make sense. Because if they're us, they're not alien.
Yeah, I don't think he said they were. I think he claims that like we evolved from this species or whatever, that they had to escape their planet. Now I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means like they sent, they did the Superman. They sent out babies, and that's why we.
Got it. I got it. I can make sense of his plan.
Okay.
So yes, we were originally from Mars. We had a great civilization. Earth was nothing but dinosaurs. Pyramids came. That's the meteor that took out the dinosaurs. Boom. Problem solved. No more dinosaurs. They help the Earth populate and all that shit, and they get stupider.
Okay.
John, what's your creationist theory?
I think we evolved from chimps, and that
Wow.
we just evolved. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, boring. Why? What do you
So
believe?
fun.
Hear me out.
Oh God.
This should be good.
So, describe the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bang.
Exactly.
It was big too.
It was very
So,
big.
in most religions, God is portrayed as what? Someone who is all powerful,
Uh, yeah.
almighty,
Mm-hmm.
large, probably.
So you're saying that,
Hold
like,
on.
Yeah.
Large,
okay,
usually wearing holy type attire or like bright, correct?
Yeah.
Bright.
okay,
What's the brightest color or lack thereof?
orange,
White.
neon
White.
orange,
White is.
Neon orange.
What do scientists wear? Lab
purple.
White
coats
coats.
that are white. Is it that crazy to think that maybe, just maybe, the Big Bang was caused by a science experiment either gone wrong or really right?
So you're saying like maybe like
But
a
a
civilization
but a
of
science
scientists.
experiment by who? Like, or is like the scientist overlords? Like,
No, not overlords. Maybe they destroyed themselves, in turn resetting the universe, causing this all to go on again. How long did it happen? Who knows?
I think science and religion can, you know what I mean? Like the Big Bang doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't caused by some entity. You know what I mean? Like maybe God
yeah.
does exist. He created the Big Bang and let
Nope,
everything
it's one or the
happen.
other. You have to pick one.
Oh God.
No, but that's a theory people believe that like God and science were like had something to do with it.
That one makes
That's
the
that's
most
kind
sense
of
to me. Because then you can
yeah.
relate
I
with it.
kind
It's
of
like,
believe that.
oh, wait, this just proved this. It's like, okay, yeah, but all
Yeah.
the guts were made from the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then God created us and let us evolve from chimps, and then maybe He pushed us along or did something and affected us, and you know what I mean? Like God works in mysterious ways. That doesn't necessarily mean that evolution disproves the existence of God.
Yeah, if
And that
anything,
doesn't
you
mean
could
like,
flip it and be like, it proves it even more. Like,
yeah,
what's the odds that this is really going to happen?
we're gonna get into religion and science at the same time. Things we're not qualified to talk
Damn
about
right.
again.
So basically, what I'm saying is, what do you deal with abortion? Huh? If God has the will to abort fetuses?
So do we want to go
You
back into
should quit while you're
space?
ahead.
Do we want to
Do
go
you
back
want
to talk about space?
do you want to talk about space?
I don't know. I feel like
Space.
space is a better topic than God and evolution.
Well, no, that's a pretty good topic. It's just we're going to devolve into another hour-long podcast on a.
We can't
Yeah, we don't
devolve.
want
God is
that.
pushing us forward. Bless
There
him.
you go.
All right,
But the our ancestors, the Martian/aliens, are pushing us back.
they're holding us back. Way to go,
Or
Joe.
maybe
So
the
then,
only ones that
what?
were able to survive the crash, or the ones that were only able to survive, were the ones that had a weaker mind. Because as we know, humans need more calories and just fuel to fuel the mind. So maybe they were at a point where they were starving to death on Mars, and only the ones with the lower brain function were able to continue.
Or this is
Or
all a
they
simulation.
That's plausible.
evolved to turn off their higher level of thinking, and we're just trying to get back there to that. And it was a survival
What's the saying?
technique, and we haven't
We
been
only
able to
use 2% of our brain. There you go.
Yes. ScarJo only uses half of her brain or something. I saw the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So
God,
we're
we're
just trying to
spiraling.
unlock it, and we're just gonna need to make pills with Bradley Cooper that look like little tablet things.
Yes. Yes.
And then we'll be unlimited.
Limitless.
Sure.
Limitless,
I
Chief.
don't want to get sued,
But
thanks.
what if?
You're welcome.
What if we have two different pills? One is one color, let's say red,
Okay.
and the other
The
one
one's
is purple. And we have to
I don't
choose
like, I don't
one.
like purple.
neon
No?
orange.
Thinking of another color?
Yeah. Violet.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So we got a red
Almost
and a
sounds like
violet one.
violence. And I know kung fu.
All right.
What
Do
you're
we want to
saying
end it
is
there?
we need to go back in time to save John Connors
Yes, exactly.
from Martians.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just spiraling now. Okay.
No, we're not.
Everyone,
When don't we spiral?
if you want to email in your suggestions, maybe you have your own belief system on where we came from as a species,
Yes,
whether or
tell
not
us your
it's
religious beliefs.
Yes, please.
Intertwine them with science.
Yeah.
we may or may not touch on this again.
Oh, we're going right back to it.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
big time. Stay tuned next week for part 2.
Email in though if you liked the stories this week, if you thought it was more fun, or if you want us to kind of go back to current events. Based on replies, we might do this again. We'll do a different story or something next week. Just something fun, just something to relax, get us through quarantine. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right,
We're
everyone,
gonna
follow us
rename
on.
our podcast "Holy Takes and Quantum Debates."
Well, that sounds nice. I like it.
Thank you.
That's definitely the episode title for sure.
We gotta write that down.
All right, everyone. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Hot Takes and Beer Breaks. Email in at hottakesandbeerbreaks@gmail.com. That's the podcast for this week. We'll see you guys next
If you want
week.
to hear those again, just replay the podcast episode because we say it twice. But then you
Yeah,
can
just
hear
like the
it
first 2
thrice
minutes
if
of
you
it.
accidentally have repeat on.
Yeah.
That's the true meaning of Christmas.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
You're welcome.